Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. We're really excited about this webinar that we are doing for home service businesses. Just a little advice for getting those Google reviews, how to do it, why it's important, a couple of tips and tricks and kind of easy ways that you can do it that aren't going to be super labor intensive or awkward for you and your business. The name of this webinar is 5 Steps to More Google Reviews for Home Service Businesses in 2021. I guess about next year, we'll have to reevaluate and see if there's better tips, but this should do you through this year. I'm really excited today. We are going to be working with Signpost. Signpost, they help contractors connect to, communicate with, and market to their clients. So in other words, they will help you get the lead, get the job, and get the review. I'm Kelsey Johnson from Smith.ai. I'm the product marketing manager over here. Smith.ai is a virtual receptionist and chat service for businesses. Our receptionists can answer calls, chats, texts, and Facebook messages, transfer calls and take messages, qualify and take information in for new leads, book and reschedule appointments, and much, much more. Just an update, if you're already a Smith.ai client, we've got a couple new exciting features in the last couple of months that I want to bring your attention to. First of all, you can make outbound calls now from your call summaries. So you just click a button and you can have us send a call out right after that. And then we also have a dedicated Spanish line. So if you have a lot of clients calling in who prefer to speak in Spanish, you can set up a line that's always answered by our bilingual Spanish-speaking receptionists. Feel free to reach out to me via email or social media to learn more about them. Today, I'm really excited to announce that we have Laura Nelson as a guest presenter. Laura Nelson has marketed to, sold to, and collaborated with local businesses for over 10 years of her career as a marketer and business manager. She is currently VP of Marketing at Signpost, following progressive roles at Broadly, Reputation.com, and Patch. Laura earned an MBA from the University of Michigan, where she focused on strategy and marketing, and a BFA at Carnegie Mellon University. She enjoys skiing, traveling, and art in her spare time, and she's based in Signpost's Denver office. I'm particularly excited about this because I am the only Smith.ai employee who is also based in Denver. So it's pretty exciting to get to do this with her, even though we're still remote. All right, so next I'm going to go over the agenda a little bit and basically what we're going to be talking about. So today we're going to talk about how reviews can help your business appear in Google search, how to get strong reviews that generate more business, how to work on getting reviews not just on Google, which is the most important platform, but also on Yelp, Thumbtack, Facebook, and all the other channels that you need them on as well, how excellent customer service really helps you get those reviews, what you can automate or outsource to create an exceptional customer experience and get those reviews without having to take on all the work yourself, because we all know you're plenty busy doing the actual work that you're charging for. And then we are going to do questions at the end, and we're also going to do a giveaway of Apple AirPods Pro, I think. So that's pretty exciting. We're going to take down the attendees and do a little giveaway at the very end, so stick around for that. And from here, I'm going to let Laura take away the first part of this presentation. Thanks, Laura.
Hi, Kelsey, and hi, everyone who is on this Zoom call. Thanks for joining us today, and excited to talk with you about all things Google reviews and systematizing this process of getting more great reviews from homeowners. So we have a poll for you. We would just love to know if you're doing anything to get more reviews today as part of your business process, and a little more about what you're doing to generate great feedback online. So you can see that poll pop up in your Zoom account. Feel free to let us know. We'll talk about many of these ways throughout this conversation today. So we'll leave that poll up as we advance into this conversation. So, why are Google reviews so important? You know, this was the big headline about what we were going to talk about today, and it's super critical to establishing your business's presence online. One of the major reasons why Google's reviews are so important is this stat alone. So 80% of consumers are searching Google to find local information. This is probably not a surprise to you guys, right? You see some value in this topic, but also because you're consumers. We're all consumers, right? We're using Google each and every day to answer pressing questions, but also to connect with someone locally to help us with the problem, right? It might be related to our home, it might be related to our health, whatever the case may be. Google has become that hub of information, and importantly, that starting point where we are all going on our mobile devices, on our desktop computers, you name it, to start that journey of discovering more information and, in your case, connecting with the provider that can help us solve a problem. So what does that look like? Oh, and before I get into that, please feel free to use the chat feature as well. I've got eyes on it throughout the conversation. I know Kelsey will too. And I'm happy to pause and take your questions as we go along. You know, I want this to be useful to you guys. I want to ensure that, you know, we're providing the right clarification that you need throughout all of the concepts that we talk about. So Kimberly, thanks for being an early adopter there. And the rest of you, please feel free to use that. If for any reason we don't pick up on any of the questions as they come in, we will allow some time at the end as well. So that Google journey, right? This is a very familiar page, whether you're on your desktop, as I said, your laptop, your mobile device. We're all starting from this very simple search portal, right? So what does that look like? I'm going to walk through, you know, what that looks like for a consumer in a couple different ways, and just kind of point out why reviews and how reviews really factor into that search. Starting with what we'll call a category search, right? If I'm a homeowner, and I just pulled this example this morning from my community. I live near Boulder, Colorado. Say I am having an issue with my HVAC system. It's winter, it's most likely heating. What am I going to do? You know, in this scenario, I don't know who I'm going to call to help me with this particular repair. So I might plug in a search like this. And again, I call this a category search. You know, I'm looking for a business of a particular type in a specific area. And what I receive from Google is what we call the map pack. You know, this is a set of 3 businesses plus a map that Google is telling me, the searcher, that are most relevant to what I'm looking for here, right? And we know as searchers and users of Google all the time, there are more options below that. You say view all, right? However, this is really prime real estate for searchers. And a lot of people don't advance beyond this map pack. It's really important to do all that you can to get into this map pack, or give your business a shot of getting into this map pack. This is prime real estate. So if I'm the searcher, I see this map pack, a few things jump out, right? Obviously, your eyes go to the map on the screen, where you see the locations of some of these choices, right? However, if you're a contractor, a home service provider of any kind, most likely you're coming to me, the homeowner. And I'm not so worried about location as much as I am on quality and trustworthiness of that business. So I'm looking at 3 distinct options in this map pack, right? And I'm noticing not a lot of differentiation from the names or the hours and so forth. Everyone's open 24 hours. Everyone's got a phone number. Some of them have a little more information. But really, what draws my eye in are these gold stars. Google has a very simple interface by design. They don't want a lot of distractions. However, on the consumer side, if I'm the homeowner, the gold stars are really what catch my eye and what help me differentiate among the choices that I'm seeing. So if we're looking at this simple scenario here, and I'm looking for someone who's going to do a good job, I'm probably going to rule out that middle option, boulder furnace repair. No reviews, no indication of whether they're still in business or how long they've been in business. So that's probably not the first place that I'm going to look. That leaves me with a couple other options, right? We've got on the bottom source furnace repair in Boulder, 1 rating or review at 5 stars. A little bit of a confidence builder, but when compared to an option like Myers Heating and AC, 4.8 stars, over 200 ratings, this choice becomes really clear. So if I'm the homeowner, I see this. I'm seeing that Myers has the ability to build a lot more confidence, and it's probably a place that I'm going to start my journey of finding someone who's going to help me with this problem in my community. So this again is called a category search. This is what someone would do if they don't know who to call, right? And you'll see how reviews really factor into that visual presentation of the Google listing and into that decision making. However, a lot of home service providers tell me and my company that they get a lot of referrals, word of mouth recommendations. I'm sure that's true for you guys as well. That's what often keeps a business afloat. It's a really important lead source for you guys. So I want to take you through what happens next in that scenario, right? Say I get a recommendation about Myers from a neighbor or a friend, and I want to get in touch with them. What do I do as the homeowner? Well, it's most likely that my friend is not handing me the phone number right away, connecting me in some other way. If I'm the homeowner, I'm probably going to have to go on Google anyways and start finding a way to connect, right? What I do, just Google the name, right? What comes up is this Google, what they call knowledge panel on the right side. So this is really a preview of your Google listing and where all the important information resides about your business on Google. So I've gotten that recommendation. I'm checking out what Myers has to offer. I'm linking out to the website. I've got the option to click to call, whether I'm on my mobile device, certainly. It makes it very easy. But also I'm building confidence in this recommendation. I know in my own personal experience, if I see something less than a 4, I'm going to question that referral recommendation from my friend. I'm going to go back and do that category search. I'm going to do my homework. However, that word of mouth recommendation is really important to me. And if I see something solid, like 4.8, over 200 reviews, I'm going to trust that recommendation. And this listing right here is going to build confidence that I'm going to make a good decision about calling this business. That's the goal for each and every one of you, right? You want to claim and optimize this listing to give yourselves the best shot of attracting as many homeowners and potential clients that you possibly can. What happens next? Natural part of reading or, building confidence among homeowners and potential clients is, getting them to read your reviews, right? This is what they do next as part of that evaluation. They start to go into the reviews, sort by newest, understand what people are saying about their experience with your business. What's awesome about this example is I've gotten a review from 17 hours ago from Daniel Walsh, right? Talks about the professionalism, punctuality, quality, and value that he got from Myers. Gives a little more detail about his own experience. 17 hours is a great cue to a potential customer that, hey, they're doing recent and relevant work and and probably do a good job for me too. But this all really underscores that reviews are really the new form of word of mouth, right? Word of mouth has moved online. The majority of consumers, so 82% here, are reading online reviews for local businesses. And what's more, they're reading a lot of reviews. So we're not just reading the top 2, right? Consumers are doing their due diligence. They're reading 10 reviews before trusting a business. That's really powerful, and it's something to keep in mind as you're building your business's online reputation. It's not good enough if you build 1 or 2 reviews and they're stellar. I mean, that's a great start, but certainly you need to build a good base of reviews, and they need to be consistent over time. That's what Google is going to find relevant in that local search. It's not something that you do once and forget. It's something that you really embed into your process so that you have a steady stream of reviews over time. And I'll talk about what that looks like in a couple minutes, but this stat is really important to keep in mind to help reinforce that you'll need a lot of reviews, especially if you're in a populated community. You'll need a lot of reviews to stay relevant and to stay competitive with other similar businesses in your area. So how does that all come together? I pulled an example of a Google My Business listing. This happens to be Signposts. And what you see on the back end, if you claim and optimize your business, is the option to read and respond to reviews. So you can see these examples pop up, and you have this perfect opportunity to respond to each and every one of them. So if you haven't gone in and claimed your Google My Business listing, if there's one thing you take away from today, it's that you absolutely must do that. That's the first step into optimizing and improving your business's presence on Google. It also comes with a full suite of tools that help you understand, connect with, communicate with your consumers as well. Some of those options include the insights that show how people found your listings, of course, reviews, reading and responding. You can activate messaging. This is another portal where you can text with prospective clients. Really interesting. And of course, link to your website, show off your products, etc. That all happens in Google My Business, and it is 100% free. So next I want to get into determining where reviews are going to help you. So we talked a lot about Google here, just because this is the biggest search engine, and a review there is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck in terms of ROI, right? Google has the most visibility. The reviews show up in these important local searches. So you can never go wrong with prioritizing a Google review. However, I don't want you to discount or completely ignore these other sites. They are Facebook, Yelp, Nextdoor. There's some others that are not on here either. Home Advisor, Thumbtack, Angie's List. All of these pages, if you're a home service provider, really comprise your business's online presence. And it's important that you look great across all of them. However, you've got to be a little strategic on where you send your customers and where they're most likely to write a review. And I want you to think about that last part, where they're most likely to write a review. If you didn't get that lead through Thumbtack, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to send that client to Thumbtack to write you a review, right? If you did, great. They're already familiar with the platform. You have the tools to follow up with them. Makes a lot of sense to keep that feedback in the Thumbtack ecosystem. However, think about how else you can make sure that they convert on the reviews. Google's a great example. If you're getting a lot of clientele with Gmail email addresses, that's an easy destination to send them. It's easy to write a Google review with a Gmail address. If Yelp,
Laura,
yep.
Laura, I also wanted to mention something that I know is really successful for a lot of businesses. Laura's definitely talking about like a big picture strategy, and she'll go into that a little bit more. But if you have those clients that just absolutely love you, you can ask them to review you on all of these, and so there's like a strategy you can definitely, mostly look for the certain places where people are finding you. But if you've got those like, just fan club clients, and we all have just a couple of them, every other month be like, hey, do you mind writing me a review here too? And it's okay if they copy and paste some of that copy, I think, but it's a good strategy to at least get a couple across all of them.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point too. If you get a great review from a great fan, copy and paste that, send it back in the email, and send a link for somewhere else. Such as like Kimberly had a great comment in here where there are some very niche sites. You're in solar and Energy Sage is vital to you. Definitely send your customers there, right? Try to take out the pain, of course, of having them dig up for the link as just an example. But say they write you something great on Google, say, hey, we love this review. I cut and pasted it below. Do you mind writing about us on Energy Sage? And here's our link.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. Kimberly also, asked what's my trick or our trick to approaching clients for multiple reviews. And I'd say it's down to the basics. Build the relationship. You can check in with this person after the service. You can set up email automations, which we'll do another webinar on that, but that, checks in with them on their birthday. If you send out newsletters, it kind of can help you keep up that relationship. And then when you go in for that ask, be very complimentary, don't be pushy in any way when you're asking for it. And just remind them that it really helps out your business when they do that for you. And like Laura said, send them the link. If they can click the link and then copy and paste their own review in there, it'll only take them 45 seconds. So makes it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually segues really nicely into what we're going to talk about next, which is how do you do this, right? You really need to incorporate this into your business process. It needs to be a crucial part in closing out each and every job that you do for a homeowner. So that requires both a human element and the right tools to make sure that this happens, right? We see here a picture of, a contractor of some sort and a homeowner. It looks like they are perhaps reviewing the invoice, right? Closing out that job. This is the perfect opportunity to remind the homeowner that, hey, online reviews are really important to our business. And you may have read some before deciding to hire us. It would really mean the world for us or to us that if you wrote a review for our business, tell us how we did. But we don't recommend that you stop there. You need the right tools and technology to follow up and ensure that this gets done. And the reason for that is, again, you have to take out the complexity of somebody looking for your pages, right? You have to ensure that there's the lowest barrier for them to actually completing the task. So we're going to talk about a couple different ways you can do that. The first one is by email. Some of you guys may be doing extensive email marketing today and finding success with that. And there's a reason that so many small businesses use email. It's because it works, right? It is relatively cheap. It can be free for some solutions. And, if you have relevant messaging, it works. So email is a great example to do that. And there's lots of tools and technology out there that help you get this done. Like here is just one example of what it looks like on the Signpost platform. You've got a simple customized ask that and speaks directly to that homeowner, that tells them how important reviews are to your business and sends them right to your review page. I'm going to take out any of the complexity, again, any of the extra steps that would prevent them from completing the task. Then boom, it lands on your Google listing. So again, this is an example of how Signpost helps you achieve that. It does integrate with some of your software, such as QuickBooks or House Call Pro or others where it's seamless and ensures that this ask is going out to each and every homeowner at the close of every job. However, there's other ways you can make this ask too. Text message, this is becoming increasingly popular for these very reasons. Specifically, number one is that most texts get read. If you're doing a lot of email marketing or you have some experience with that, you're probably noticing that only below 50% of your emails are getting read, and don't fret, that is very common. However, on text messaging, the stats support the fact that almost all of them are getting read. So you have a much higher chance of conversion through this method. However, we've provided some pointers rather, and making that easy, right? And ensuring the job gets done. So importantly, we recommend that you personalize the message. Don't create an automated, impersonal message that addresses a homeowner as dear customer, as just an example. Use the first name. This is easy to implement, and it really does go a long way in recognizing who they are. Keep it conversational, right? Again, no boilerplate copy, but keep it from a person to a person. That's a reminder, like you are a business owner or manager or service tech, like keep it in a friendly tone of voice. Consider your timing as well. We talked about the importance of asking for a review at the end of each and every job. So make sure that's the case with your text messages too. Send it as soon as you complete the job. And of course, with text messages, as with email or anything else, send the link. Make it easy for them to finish this task. But also don't bombard them too. Like there's a fine line. If you ask for something too much, the homeowner may be less willing to complete this task. So, definitely keep that in mind as you build out your strategy for following up with each and every homeowner and asking them for this simple piece of feedback. So that covers us off on Google reviews and just review strategy in general. But of course, if you have questions, please include them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them toward the end of the session. I want to hand things off to Kelsey now, who is going to talk a little more about service delivery and how to earn those great reviews.
Yeah, so Laura gave us a really great overview of the importance of reviews, which I think we all kind of know inherently because we are all consumers ourselves, right? And so we're looking at reviews when we hire other people, either for our home services or for, literally whatever it is that we're looking for. And I do know that, the more expensive something is, whether it's a service or a product, generally the more reviews people are looking for before they make that purchase. This is just a really important stat to pay attention to. 75% of customers are lost due to waiting times. Now, this is from a retail survey, but the exact same people who are hiring your service are the same people who are buying things from retail stores. So this is kind of pervasive in our society in general. And what I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides is really, I was talking about those amazing clients that absolutely love you, and you wouldn't think that you would love your HVAC person, but you do, because they have been so there for you. And so this is how you, in just like a couple of ways that you can optimize your ability to turn people who like your services and had a good experience into people who had an amazing experience and really, really want to write these reviews, which, going back to what Kimberly asked about, is really the way to get so many more reviews on your listings, and you create this sort of system and this way of treating clients well, and they really like it. So first of all, don't make them wait. Don't make them wait, in multiple ways, but mostly when they're trying to reach out to you. So Laura, I'm going to have you go to the next slide really quickly. 82% of consumers expect an immediate response to a sales inquiry. So we're talking about the moment that they call your business in order to hire you. 82% of people expect you to pick up the phone, or they expect, if they fill out a form on your website, for you to reach out to them immediately or have some sort of email response that reaches out to them immediately. Same thing with text messages, same thing with social media messages, wherever it is that you're communicating with your clients. They really expect you to be available there. And then here's a couple of other stats just to keep in mind for this as well. 50% of lead gen budgets are wasted on leads who are never contacted. So that's money that you're spending on marketing that brings in leads that you never, reach. And 79% of marketing leads never convert into sales. So that's almost 80% of people who just you brought in through your marketing, but who aren't necessarily turning into actual clients. And 67% of customers who receive excellent service spend up to 14% more. And so that's sort of that upsell opportunity. And if you'll take us to the next slide, please, Laura. Basically what this comes down to in Smith.ai's experience is that you just need to be answering the phone. There's texting now, there's social media, there's emails and stuff, but so many more of these people, as you could see on that, Google listing where you saw the reviews and you saw the card, almost everybody is going to still be reaching out to you by phone. They're going to be picking up the phone and they're going to be calling your business. And that, 82% of them expect you to be available right when they call. Now, the odds are stacked against you, especially if you're a small business owner or you're just, doing it by yourself and you're taking care of the phone calls and you're taking care of marketing and all of that stuff. And so that's where, you can employ something like either a virtual assistant or a virtual receptionist service like Smith.ai that can really take over answering those calls for you. And, that's a way that you can provide this really valuable immediate service, an immediate, person for this person to talk to, that helps them feel like they've really been heard. They know that your business is open. They know that you have certain availability. They know that based off where they are or their, how much they can afford, that you are or are not able to serve them. And that's before you even really have to get on the call with them. But, even if you don't do that, it's something that you need to start prioritizing in terms of picking up your own calls or making sure that you have someone in your office, or let's say, you have multiple people, making sure that you set up your phone system so that everybody's being rung, or if somebody doesn't pick up in a couple of calls, somebody else their phone is ringing too. So you can make sure that you are responding to every single one of those people, so that first of all, so that they don't move on to your competitor, but second of all, it's going to create this wonderful client experience that makes them really huge fans of yours in the long run. I am going to have you go to the next slide really quickly. So then, even though there is a huge percentage of this population that is going to be reaching out to you by phone, there are also people who are maybe finding you on Thumbtack or finding you on Facebook, or, finding you on Google, and instead of wanting to call you, maybe just a couple of them, but a couple, matters, and that's the way to grow your business, are reaching out. There's like a messenger system literally on Google. And so making sure that you can capture all of those people who are reaching out to you, or say capture people who are reaching your website but don't call your number yet via something like web chat. That's just a really great way for you to get these leads that might not necessarily have called you straight away, but are still reaching out to you, and making sure that you respond to them in that really immediate way. And there's tons of platforms to do this on, or you can just make sure that you have your notifications set on yourself. But that's something that's really important in order to sort of give this availability that your clients are looking for, in order to turn them into the kinds of clients who really want to leave you a review. I'm going to have you go to the next step. Oh, I did mention, sorry, on the last slide. I know I put something up here about a public booking link. Whether you use House Call Pro or Jobber, or if you have another management platform like that, a lot of them have those sort of service public booking links. And that's the kind of thing that you can add to your website, obviously, but you can also give that to like your virtual receptionist service, or make sure that the in-house service that you have is available, or even have that as something you can send as a link to your clients. And it's really, if you don't have a platform like that, you can use something even like Calendly, or, Acuity. There's like a lot of these public booking forms that allow somebody else who might not necessarily be you to book these services on behalf of you, and get that person on your schedule, so that even if you aren't able to pick up the phone immediately, you still have the job, right? You've booked the job, you've got that person on your calendar. Maybe you need to follow up with them or something, but that's a really effective way to get somebody from very first phone call to actually booked on your calendar. This is just sort of a recap of, what we went over in general today. So if you want to get started, in terms of like steps of, there's a lot of opportunities for you to really do the best things that you can, and add a lot of these things to your arsenal in terms of creating great client experiences and getting reviews. But here's a good place to start, which is optimize for local search, right? Get that Google My Business listing if you don't already have it. If you do have it, check in with it and make sure that it's got a bunch of stuff updated there. Make sure that you are responding to the reviews that are already on there. Even if that's something that you have, an assistant do, or your kid can jump on there and just say some nice things about the reviews. But that's something that's really important. And then create this review strategy. So once you've gotten your Google My Business listing, you have a link that you can send. Same thing with Facebook, that it's pretty easy to send just a link on writing a review. So create that strategy according to what Laura mentioned, bring up the reviews and how they help you when you're actually providing the service, and then, implement some of these things as you have time to and as you want to, in order to send out these emails and send out these text messages and follow up with people, and really build those reviews and the relationships as well. And then be available and responsive. So when people text you back, or when people are calling you, make sure that you are there, creating that sort of full circle relationship for them. And then, use multiple channels of communication. Be available wherever it is that your clients are reaching out to you, in order to create that amazing client experience for them.
All right, we have another poll to ask you guys. Kelsey, you want to pop up and announce the question?
I just launched the poll up, so they can start filling that out as we move on. And just mention, I think we've gone over a little bit of the ways that Signpost and Smith.ai can help you, but we can review those, really quickly now if you want to go to the next next screen. Perfect.
Sure. Just as a recap, because I know we also just got a question about Smith.ai. So Kelsey will handle that one. But I'll recap kind of what Kelsey announced at the top of the hour, what exactly this, get the lead, get the job, get the review all means for the Signpost solution. Our solution helps you with automated chats on your website. If you go to signpost.com, you can see an example of that. We link to your booking system so that homeowners and other potential clients have the opportunity to book your services when you're not available. We know that a lot of people are searching, after hours and overnight when you're not available to take those calls. We help you both address negative feedback and get better reviews. Of course, our automated solution helps ensure that each and every one of your homeowners and customers gets followed up with and has the opportunity to leave you great feedback. But on the flip side, we also help you head off negative feedback. We do have a capability within our platform that helps to capture negative feedback before it goes online rather, and gives you the opportunity to address it before it becomes a major public problem. So that helps you protect your online reputation and of course your local brand as well. And then finally, we have capabilities that help you with outgoing text and email marketing so that you can drive more loyalty and stay top of mind among homeowners for much longer than just a single job. So check us out at signpost.com if you want to learn more about the full solution here. And I'll also hand it off to Kelsey, who's going to go into details on how Smith.ai can help make your lives easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a quick review of the things that Smith.ai can do, and then I'm going to answer John's question right after that as well. So, we can answer the phone every single time, 24/7 for you. We do a couple of other services, like we can send out text messages asking for reviews. You can set up something called an email to SMS gateway. I know it sounds techy and scary, but it's really not. Basically what it is a platform for you to be able to reach out to ask for those reviews. And then if somebody does text back and wants more clarification, then our agents can actually engage in that text conversation without you being interrupted. We answer Facebook and Thumbtack messages if you're asking for reviews there. We can do outbound calls. If you create that into your system, you've sort of figured out that most people want to have that conversation. Smith.ai receptionist can do outbound calls as well. And, we're just working really hard to create excellent experiences for your customers. In that light, I'm going to field John's question, which is how does Smith.ai effectively represent my business rather than it being too evident that they're just using an answering service? That's a really good question. And that's one of the things that we are the most focused on doing. So when you take on Smith.ai, we don't just have you forward calls and we start taking them. We put you through an entire onboarding process where we make sure that we know not only how to pronounce everybody's name, how to pronounce your business's name, but the way that you want us to greet you. And then going even further than that, we can qualify your leads. So if somebody calls in and let's say you are one of those Boulder HVAC companies, but they happen to be in Lakewood, which is just another suburb outside of Denver, but you aren't able to drive that far, or you are, then our receptionists can make sure that they ask that question, where are you located, and make sure that it's within your service area so that you can definitely get to that client. Other qualifying questions we could do is, here's the estimate for the consultation. Are you able to pay that? Or, what kind of time frame are you looking for? Do you need this done straight away versus, in the next couple of days or something? And so really make sure that we qualify those leads on your behalf. And we'll build out your profile. Our technology is built to enable the receptionist. So we hire receptionists with experience in hospitality, in service industries, people who really know how to pick up the phone and be friendly and have a comfortable conversation. But we give them the technology that has the answers to frequently asked questions about your business, right? So if people are always asking, a certain question about what you're able to offer or where you're located or, what they need to do as a part of the process, we'll build that into our technology so that when, somebody's calling your business and they get one of our receptionists, it really sounds like they are in-house for you. And we hear that from our clients all the time. Nobody can tell, like, they thought I got a new receptionist, and so that's incredibly important for us to make sure that we don't just pick up the phone and then take a message and then let you know what they said, but we can actually provide value to that lead on the first call. And then, even further than that, a couple of extra things we can do is we can book that appointment. So if you do have a public booking link, like I was mentioning before, whether it's through Jobber, whether it's through House Call Pro, any of those other platforms, or just something customized that you have, our receptionists, once we've qualified that person, we can then open up your booking link and book an appointment for you, and see what your availability is and make sure that the person is booked. If you take any money on, the front end for this, whether it's a consultation fee or anything like that, then that's something that we can actually take that money for you, run the payment for you initially on that first call. So it's a very customizable service that we want to provide value to you, but also to your caller and to your caller on the very first call. And let's see. Do we handle posting on social media platforms? I don't know if that is a question for Smith.ai. We do not post on social media platforms. Do you guys, Laura?
We facilitate the review generation, but we do not post content. I know that can be a cumbersome task, and we always recommend tools like Hootsuite and others that make it really easy. Something that we do help businesses with is newsletter content. Specifically if you're, say a roofer or HVAC tech or plumber, as just an example, we do create monthly content that can be shared via the newsletter or, of course, excerpted, in a social media post or elsewhere. So that's just one thing that we do provide, but it's not exactly the same as direct posting to social media, as I believe you're asking.
Yeah, and then Kimberly just mentioned in the chat as well that she's on the Smith.ai website and it says Facebook messages, which is true. We can actually answer messages from your business's Facebook page. So, right, just like the Google listing, you set up a Facebook page for your business. Maybe you're getting reviews there or something. But if you're not on Facebook all of the time, you can hook up our chat service to your Facebook page. And if somebody messages you and says, hey, I just saw you've got some great reviews, can I book an appointment? We can actually answer those messages on your behalf in the same way that we take a call for you. So we don't do that active posting of Facebook posts on your page, but if there's, we can provide that responsiveness. If there's somebody on your Facebook page who wants to message you and has some questions or whatever, that's the kind of thing that our chat agents actually can handle, in addition to, like live chat on your website or answering those text messages or anything like that. We did have another question, which I think you could maybe handle, Laura, which is, what does it mean to be Google guaranteed?
Yeah, this is a certification process through Google that also, helps you buy into a new tier of advertising. It is relatively new when you compare it to either traditional paid ad services. You do have to provide information about your business license and so forth and go through their process of vetting. I'm personally not an expert on it, but if Google's important to you and if you have a certain marketing budget, I'd highly recommend you look into it, because what it enables you to do is buy the real estate right below the Google search bar. So super critical, and gives you, again, a new access to a new tier of advertising. I will say, what's interesting about these ad slots too is that they really pare down the information and really feature your Google rating. So I would not recommend it unless you have a very strong Google review and rating to go along with it.
So if you do want to sign up today, and you just came to this webinar, you don't have to be a time to reply current client if you aren't yet, but you can use code time to reply for $100 off your first month of services at Smith.ai. You are welcome to reach out to me. I'm actually going to be sending out an email in the next 24 hours with a link to this presentation and a few more resources just if you need them. And you're welcome to reach back out to me if you have any questions. And then Laura has her information up here too, if you have any questions for her. So is there anything else, Laura, you wanted to mention before we head out?
No, of course, everyone is welcome. If we did not cover your question on Google reviews or anything in the realm of what we discussed today, I'm happy to answer your question. And if you would like us to take a look at your pages and tell you where you have some opportunity to improve, please reach out to me as well. I can connect you with one of our reps who can give you that online assessment.
All right. Thank you again so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your week, everybody.